close your eyes for a moment. Now imagine you are standing in an open field. No buildings, no roads, no electricity. Just flat land stretching in every direction. The sky above you is darkening fast. Clouds are rolling in, thick and black, swallowing the sun. The temperature drops, the wind picks up. And then, without any warning, the sky rips apart. A blinding white flash the darkness. A crack so loud it shakes the ground beneath your feet. The air itself vibrates. For a split second, night becomes brighter than day. And then a sound so deep, so massive, it feels like the world is breaking. Now imagine you have no concept of weather, no word for lightning, no word for thunder, no idea what electricity is, no idea what causes sound. You don't even have a word for sky. All you know is that something up there, something invisible and enormous, just screamed at you, and then tried to kill the ground right next to you with a blinding weapon. This is what thunder was to your ancestors. And how they reacted to it shaped religion, language, storytelling, and the way humans think about power for the next 100,000 years. Today we think of thunderstorms as weather, mild inconvenience. Check your phone, see rain coming, grab an umbrella. But for ancient humans, a thunderstorm was the most terrifying thing in existence. More frightening than predators, more confusing than fire, more powerful than anything they had ever seen. Because predators you could see, you could fight, you could run. Fire, you could eventually learn to understand. But thunder came from nowhere, struck from an empty sky, killed instantly, and disappeared without a trace. You couldn't fight it, you couldn't run from it, you couldn't predict it, and worst of all, you couldn't see what was doing it. Let me take you back to what this actually felt like. You are a prehistoric human, maybe Homo sapiens, maybe even earlier. You live in East Africa. Your world is the savannah, maybe some scattered trees, rocky outcrops, open sky. You spend your days walking, hunting, gathering. You understand animals. You understand plants. You understand water and wind and seasons. But you do not understand what is above you. A storm rolls in. The first sign is the wind changing direction. Then the temperature drops suddenly. The sky goes dark in the middle of the day. Animals start behaving strangely. Birds stop singing. Everything goes quiet. And in that sense, you feel something is very wrong. Then the first flash. A bolt of lightning strikes a tree 200 meters away. The tree explodes, literally explodes. Bark and splinters fly in every direction. Fire erupts from the shattered trunk, and a sound hits you so hard your ears ring and your chest vibrates. Your group panics. Everyone runs. But where do you run from something that comes from the sky? There is no direction that is safe. There is no cave deep enough. There is no distance far enough. The next strike could be anywhere, right where you are standing. This is pure existential terror, the kind that changes how a brain works, the kind that creates permanent psychological imprints on an entire species. And for hundreds of thousands of years, this happened again and again. Every storm season, every time clouds gathered. The same terror, the same helplessness, the same impossibility of understanding what was happening. So what did ancient humans do with this fear? How did they process something so far beyond their understanding? They did what humans always do when confronted with the unexplainable. They gave it a story. They decided something alive was doing this, something powerful, something intentional, something angry. You think about it from their perspective. What in their experience moves on its own, makes loud sounds, causes destruction, and cannot be seen? Only living things act with intention. Only living things target specific places. Only living things seem angry. So thunder became a being. Lightning became a weapon. The storm became the rage of something powerful beyond imagination. This might be the very beginning of religion. Not temples, not rituals, not scripture. Just a terrified of humans in a storm, deciding that something up there must be alive and angry. We see this in every ancient culture on Earth. Every single one developed a thunder god. Every culture, without exception. And they did it independently, without contact with each other. Zeus for the Greeks, Thor for the Norse, Indra for the Hindus, Raijin for the Chinese, Shango for the Yoruba people, Raijin for the Japanese, Thunderbird for the Native Americans, Jupiter for the Romans, Perun for the Slavs. Every single one wielded lightning as a weapon. Every single one lived in the sky. Every single one was described as the most powerful god in their pantheon, or among the most powerful. This cannot be coincidence. This is a universal human response to the same terrifying experience. Ancient humans everywhere heard thunder and came to the same conclusion. Something up there is alive, and it is more powerful than anything on earth. And here is what makes this even more fascinating. The thunder god was almost always the king of the gods, the leader, the most feared. In Greece, Zeus ruled all other gods. In Norse mythology, Thor was the mightiest warrior. In Hinduism, Indra was the king of the heavens. Why? Because thunder demonstrated absolute power. Power that could not be challenged. Power that struck from above without warning. Power that destroyed anything it touched instantly. If you wanted to describe the concept of ultimate authority to someone who had never heard the word, you would describe thunder. Invisible, unavoidable, instantly destructive. Coming from above. That is the definition of supreme power. Ancient humans learned the concept of hierarchy, of something being greater than you, from thunder. The idea that there are forces above you that you cannot control or understand or fight. This comes directly from the experience of standing in a thunderstorm and surviving. But thunder didn't just create gods. It created something else, something we still use today. It created the concept of morality through punishment. Think about this. Lightning strikes are random. They hit trees, rocks, open ground, sometimes animals, sometimes people. But to an ancient human who doesn't understand randomness, every strike looks targeted, intentional, aimed. So when lightning struck near someone or struck a person, the group didn't think bad luck. They thought that person was punished. They did something wrong. The sky god was angry at them specifically. This is the birth of divine punishment. The idea that bad behavior is punished by invisible powerful forces. And it exists in every religion on earth. Because every group of humans watched lightning strike and concluded that it was punishment. And once you believe bad behavior causes lightning strikes, you start behaving differently. You follow rules. You don't steal. You don't harm others. Not because of laws or police, but because you believe the sky is watching. Thunder literally created morality, or at least the enforcement mechanism for morality. The belief that something above you sees everything and will strike you down if you misbehave. This is still with us today. The phrase, the wrath of God, the idea of being struck down, the fear of a higher power watching and judging. All of this traces directly back to prehistoric humans watching lightning and deciding it was deliberate. But there is another side to this story. Thunder wasn't only terrifying, it was also eventually useful. Remember what comes with thunder: rain, lightning, fire. Ancient humans eventually noticed the pattern. After the terrifying storm passes, the world is transformed. The dry ground is wet. Rivers that were empty begin to flow. Plants that were dead turn green. And sometimes, lightning starts fires that lead to cooked food and cleared land. So the same entity that terrified them also saved them. The same power that could destroy also created life. The rain that followed thunder was the difference between starvation and survival. This duality, destructive and life-giving, is why thunder gods were worshipped rather than simply feared. You don't worship something that only destroys. You worship something that can both destroy and save. Something you need to keep happy. This is why rituals were born. If the thunder being is alive and intentional, maybe you can communicate with it. Maybe if you do certain things, say certain words, make certain offerings, the rain will come, but the lightning will not strike your people. Rain dances, storm rituals, sacrifices before planting season. All of these trace back to the same origin. Humans trying to negotiate with thunder, trying to ask for rain without the destruction. And here is something beautiful. This was also the beginning of hope. Before thunder, ancient humans had no concept of appealing to something greater than themselves. But once they believed the sky was alive, they believed they could communicate with it. They believed their actions mattered to something beyond the physical world. That is the birth of prayer. Not in a temple, not with a book, but in an open field during a storm, with a terrified human looking up and saying, "Please, not me." Thunder also changed how humans thought about death. When someone was struck by lightning, it was instant. One moment alive, the next moment gone. No wound, no predator, no disease. Just an invisible force, and then death. This planted the idea that death could come from nowhere, that you were never truly safe, that no matter how strong or fast or smart you were, something could end you in an instant without warning. But it also created something remarkable. People killed by lightning were often treated as special, sacred, chosen. In many cultures, being struck by lightning was seen as being touched by the gods. The person was either punished or selected for something important. Burial sites show that lightning strike victims were sometimes given special burials, different from normal deaths. Because their death was caused by the sky itself, it meant something different, something beyond normal dying. And what about children? Imagine being a prehistoric child experiencing your first thunderstorm, the absolute terror. Screaming, crying, clinging to your mother, and then your mother, who is also scared but has survived storms before, holds you and tells you a story. The sky is angry today, but if we stay here, if we stay together, it will pass. It always passes. This is parenting. This is comfort. This is the origin of lullabies and reassurance in adults explaining the world to children. Thunder made this necessary. Before thunder, what was there to be afraid of that required explanation? Predators were simple, run or fight, but thunder required a story. It required a parent to make sense of something that made no sense. And so humans developed the ability to comfort with words, to explain the unexplainable, to turn fear into narrative. This is storytelling at its most fundamental level. Thunder made us storytellers. Today, we understand that thunder is the sound of air rapidly expanding when heated by lightning. We know lightning is an electrical discharge between clouds and the ground. We know it is physics, not gods. We know it is weather, not punishment. But our bodies still react. When thunder crashes loud and close, your heart rate spikes. You flinch, babies cry, dogs hide. Every mammal on Earth still fears sudden loud sounds from above, because for millions of years, that sound meant danger. It meant an invisible force was striking the Earth. And our nervous system remembers, even though our conscious mind knows better. The fear of thunder is hardwired into us. It is not learned. Babies who have never seen a storm cry at loud bangs. This response is ancient, older than language, older than fire, older than tools. And every time you hear thunder and feel that involuntary chill, that moment of primal alertness, you are feeling exactly what your ancestors felt 100,000 years ago. The same neurons firing, the same hormones releasing, the same ancient whisper in your blood saying something powerful is here. The only difference is that they looked up and saw gods, and we look up and see clouds. But the feeling is identical. So the next time a storm rolls in and the sky flashes white and thunder shakes the windows, for just a moment, let yourself feel what they felt. Let the thunder be something alive, something speaking, something powerful beyond comprehension. Because in that moment, you are connected to every human who has ever lived. Every ancestor who heard that same sound and wondered what it meant. Every child who was held by their mother during a storm. Every person who looked up and invented a god to explain what they could not understand. Thunder didn't just scare us. It made us think. It made us tell stories. It made us create gods. It made us develop morality. It made us comfort our children. It made us pray. It made us human. And it all started with a flash of light and a sound that shook the world. If you found this interesting, subscribe. I tell stories like this every week. Next time, we are exploring something even more mysterious. What did ancient humans think dreams were? I will see you there.